Hello students, I'm your science teacher and this is video part 2 of this chapter, that is chapter 17, Forest or Lifeline. So in the previous video part we have already discussed about the forest and important forest produce. So in this video part we'll discuss about firstly forest as a system. So students, in the previous video part only we have discussed that forest is a system comprising various plants, animals and microorganisms, right? So students, if we want a sustainable forest ecosystem, then student there should be a variety of animals and plants in a forest, right? And student, the various components of forest, they are interdependent on one another, right? So there is we can say that there is an interaction between soil, water, air and the living organism, right? And so the all the animals, whether herbivores or carnivores, they depend on plants for their food supply, right? So we'll talk about, we can say that the independence of components of forest. So student, the forest has different types of plants and animals. They are autotrophs, heterotrophs, saprotrophs and decomposers. So now what is autotrophs? So autotrophs are what? Are the plants which prepare food by photosynthesis. And if we talk about heterotrophs, so students, the animal which get their food directly or indirectly from plants. Now if we talk about saprotrophs, so students, these are the animal which feed on dead animals. And if we talk about decomposers, so students, these are microorganisms which decompose dead plants and animals into humus, right? So if we talk about the example of decomposers, so we can say that the bacteria and fungi, right? So and students, the humus which makes the, as you know that humus is present in the soil, it makes what, it makes the soil highly fertile, right? So the topsoil of forest is fertile because of the presence of humus, right? And student, the decomposer, they what they do, they help in maintaining the supply of nutrients to the growing plants in the forest. And humus, it enriches the soil with nutrition which helps in plant growth, right? So now we'll talk about food chain. So students, organisms which feed on plants are eaten by other organisms and so on to form food chain. See students, as we know that a wide variety of animals helps the forest to regenerate and grow, right? So organisms which feed on plants often get eaten by other organisms and so on. So for example, if we talk about a grass, so grass is eaten by insects and which is in turn is taken by the frog. So the frog is consumed by snake. So this is said to form a what? Food chain, right? So many food chains can be found in the forest students, and all food chains are linked, right? So the forests are perfect recycling factories of nature and all the nutrients are recycled. And here student, nothing goes waste. Like here you can see grass eaten by insects, then insect is eaten by frog, then frog is eaten by snake, and then snake is eaten by what? Eagle. So there are many food chains in the forest students, all food chains are linked together, and if any food chain is disturbed students, it affects other food chains, right? So every component of forest depend on one another, and if we remove one component like trees, all the other components are affected, right? So here you can see student, this is the food chain image. You can see here the different food chain. Then in the first only you can see grass, grasshopper, then frog, then python, right? So now we'll talk about the role of forest in preserving the environment. So students, see this forest play an important role in preserving the environment, right? So students, as we know about the green plants, now what they take? They take solar energy and convert it into chemical energy while making food. Right? And so these green plants, they utilize carbon dioxide during photosynthesis, and what they release? They release oxygen. Okay, so this is how students, the green plants maintain the balance of carbon dioxide and oxygen in the environment, right? So the different roles played in the nature are listed here. So here you can see student, like if we talk about the different roles that is played by the nature, that is role of forest in water cycle, role of forest in conservation, right? So here students, you can see the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So during respiration students, the plants and animals take in oxygen and release carbon dioxide, right? And during photosynthesis students, what happen? Plants take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen, so that plants help to maintain the oxygen and carbon dioxide balance in the atmosphere. So this is why students, forests are called what? Green lungs, right? So students, forests influence climate, water cycle and air quality of planet earth in a big way. Okay, so if forests disappear students, the amount of carbon dioxide in air will increase and resulting in the subsequent increase in the earth's temperature, right? So students, this forest help in bringing good rainfall in neighboring areas also, right? So that's all for today students. I hope you all have understood. Now the next topic we are going to discuss in our next video part. Thank you.